The Heist Mars Battleground is one of the hardest Grandmaster Nightfalls in the game, but with this guide, you'll be beating it with ease to get your Gilded Conqueror seal and the brand new bow, which has some of the best bow rolls in the entire game. But we do have to beat the GM to get it in the first place, so starting with loadouts, any set of classes does work, but my preferred composition for this is 2 Solar Warlocks and 1 Void Hunter. The Solar Warlocks will be your key for getting through the ad-dense front half of the strike by continuously cycling Well of Radiance with Phoenix Protocol. Touch of Flame Fusion Grenades for high damage and Icarus Dash for some extra mobility will feel really nice for nuking champions and slipping out of dangerous situations. Pair this all up with fragments like the Embers of Torches, Benevolence, Solace, and Singeing, and you'll be all set. On your Hunter, you'll want to go the invisibility route, which is crucial for getting revives and dunking arc charges in the boss room, as well as bailing your team out if you get overrun by adds at any point in the strike. Opting into the Deadfall Super as well will not only make those ad clear onslaught phases much more manageable and efficient, but will also supply a ton of orbs to your Warlocks so they can keep cycling wells. For your exotic, it's dealer's choice, but I'd urge you to go towards Omnioculus if you want more reliable clears, or Orpheus Riggs if you want faster clears. Pair this all with Trapper's Ambush and Vanishing Step for aspects, and the Echoes of Persistence, Obscurity, Starvation, and Harvest for fragments, and you're all set. If you do want to run a Titan for this though, I'd honestly recommend the old Abeyant Leap Dranger's Lash Titan setup. Although Suspend isn't as good as it used to be, this build is still pretty solid for how ad-dense this strike is. As for weapons, I'd recommend all 3 players opt into Wish Ender for barrier champions, and just solid ad clear in general, as well as machine guns in the heavy slot. You'll then want the energy slot to be occupied by any mix of disorienting grenade launchers and unstoppable fusion rifles across your team. I highly recommend matching the element of these to the element of the weekly surge if possible as well. For mods, all that is really important here is a kinetic siphon on the helmet, solar and arc resists on the chest, and anything else that complements your build. Now before we get to the secret strategies to make this GM super easy, this video wouldn't exist without its sponsor, Omniheroes. Omniheroes is a heroic fantasy casual strategy RPG that has received recommendations from both the Google Play and App Store. In Omniheroes, you must rescue the captive Valkyries from demons and fight together against the evil that threatens the world, all through casual and relaxed gameplay that also provides a lot of depth and exploration for players who enjoy strategic challenges. There is also a quick battle system that will skip through the battles for you if you're in a rush or just want to play in the background without having to focus too much. In Omniheroes, there are 7 different Valkyries, my favorite of which is Dorabella, a classic take on a powerful ethereal mage, as well as over 100 different legendary heroes that you can use to fight alongside your Valkyries. And if you download now by using my link in the description or by scanning my QR code on screen, you can claim up to 777 pulls and secure a minimum of 5 legendary heroes to get you started. Thanks to Omniheroes for making this video possible. Now let's get punching. Right as you load into the GM, do not kill a single enemy. Instead, sprint straight to the C tower capture point by running past every enemy as you go. You'll then break all of the debris off of the C tower to bring it online, and then rotate to the dirt mound and just hang out. By avoiding any enemy kills, you completely prevent any taken enemies from spawning that will stop your capture of C, meaning that you can just hang out while it slowly completes to 100% progress. Remember that for these towers, they do not progress from having a guardian standing on them, but rather from having 0 enemies standing on them. So just be patient and let it do its thing. Once C finishes, you can then begin clearing the debris off of the B tower from the mound. Again, being careful to not kill any enemies. Once you bring the B tower online, all of the enemies will scurry around and eventually settle, at which point you'll find that 2 lone thrall are hiding behind the B tower. At this point, you want to send the Invis Hunter player in to carefully execute only these 2 thrall, which will of course allow the tower to progress. From here, about every 30 seconds or so, 2 acolytes will spawn in and make their way to the tower. Simply kill these acolytes from range if you have line of sight on them, or send the Invis Hunter in to execute them. Rinse and repeat until B is captured. From here, you may start killing enemies as you head back towards spawn and wrap around to the other end of the arena. Key enemies to take out here are the Barrier Knight, Unstoppable Ogre, and Large High Boss enemy that have spawned. After fighting your way past these 3 enemies, you'll hop over to the other side of the A tower and begin clearing out the debris, at which point the Hive Acolyte Deathsinger will spawn in the back of the map. Mow him down with your machine guns before he gets to the Shrieker and deactivates your abilities, and then make your way back to the balcony overlooking the A tower. At this point, you can continuously cycle wells and supers as you kill every enemy, including 2 unstoppable ogres, to capture the A tower and unlock the Warmind weapon. From here, grab the heavy ammo crate to restock on ammo, and then use the Warmind weapon to clear the debris so you can be on your way. For the hack section, begin by clearing out the initial unstoppable ogre and barrier knight before you activate the hack. After doing so, head to the upper balcony where you'll hold your ground for this entire room. While up here, the only true threat is the Thrall, Cursed Thrall, and Acolytes that will occasionally spawn behind you, so assign one of your 3 players to be responsible for periodically checking those flanks. As the hack begins, you can get by very easily by simply killing everything from range with bows. It's not until about 25% progress that you'll want to start cycling supers, using tethers whenever it is available, and having each Well of Radiance placed as the current one expires. With all of the orb generation and bonus super energy from Phoenix Protocol, you will have a Well of Radiance available at all times. The main enemies you want to focus are the Unstoppable Ogre and Barrier Knight champions, the Blistered Sword Knights that can interrupt the hack, and the Hive Boss Ogre that spawns towards the end. If at any time a Blistered Knight does get past and interrupt the hack, don't worry, just simply hold your ground as you clear out the main threats of the arena, then send your Invis Hunter down to clean up the Knight and restart the hack. As you finish this and make your way through the lasers, you can use the Hunter to make your entire fire team invis while behind cover, preventing the tracking lasers from targeting you. And to make it even easier, you can even skip the back half of this section by scaling the rocks in the middle and jumping off to the right onto a pipe that you'll then run across until you get to the next platform that you can jump up onto. After opening the door, you'll simply have a few knights and acolytes to dispatch, after which you can make your way up to the top where you can plant a well to easily dispatch the 2 barrier champions and other miscellaneous enemies. You'll then progress to the outer Warmind chamber, where you'll have 2 options. Option 1 is to kill all 5 Hive runes, where you'll send the Warlock players up above the door to acquire the middle Warmind gun and to stay safe, and send the Hunter player over to the right to grab the right side Warmind gun. A gun has enough ammo to kill 2.5 runes, meaning that with just 2, you can get through quite easily. Option 2 is to send all 3 players up above the door and just wait. If the timer hits 0, the door will automatically open. The 2 caveats of this is that this will spawn a Barrier Knight and Unstoppable Ogre from the door, and you will not receive a heavy ammo crate when the door opens. But if you're fine on ammo and don't mind killing another 2 champions, it's not really a problem. Making your way into the inner chamber, you can pre-plant all of your supers before interacting with the middle console to start the fight, as beginning the fight instantly refills all of your abilities. For the beginning of the fight where you have to damage the boss, you have 2 options. Option 1 is to kite the boss back and forth between the main hallway by simply shooting at him and then jumping over his head and running across to the other side of the hallway. If you jump high enough over him, he won't be able to hit you. Simply have one player kite him around while the other 2 light him up. Option 2 is to literally jump up into the tower where he can't touch you whatsoever. While this strategy is extremely safe, you can only fit 2 people maximum up in the safe corners of the tower, meaning that you'll have a little less damage on the boss since the 3rd player will simply be hiding. Still, this is my preferred method of the 2. Once you get the boss to 50% HP, he will go immune, slow down significantly, and spawn an Unstoppable Ogre and Barrier Knight in the middle. Here you'll want the Hunter to make the entire fire team invisible as they make their way to the back of the arena, where one of the Warlocks will place a well for y'all to stay safe in as you blast the champions. Make sure you focus the Unstoppable Ogre before worrying about anything else though, unless you want this to happen. After killing the champions, you have a bit more free reign around the arena. It is here that you'll simply want to roam around as a team, killing the arc-shielded knights, who will drop arc charges on their death that must be deposited in the middle to progress the fight. Simply have your Invis Hunter dunk 5 of these while invisible to make this part extremely easy. Once you dunk 5 and drop the boss's shield, it's simply a rinse and repeat of your preferred strategy from phase 1, until he's dead. Upon your platinum completion, you'll be rewarded with exotic armor, ascendant shards, a choice to hit those like and subscribe buttons down below if this guide helped, and the new Adept Pre-Astyanax 4 bow. The god roll of which you want to gun for is Elastic String, Compact Arrow Shaft, Archer's Tempo, and Precision Instrument, a new perk that allows you to stack up to a 25% precision damage buff. With the draw time or reload speed masterwork, this thing is going to be a monster in endgame PvE content moving forward, so definitely be sure to pick one up if you have the time. If this guide wasn't enough to help you get your clear, or you just want a super easy run, stop by my stream at twitch.tv/Mactics, where I do live free carries all the time. Consider liking and subscribing if you enjoyed the video. I'll see you in the live stream. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, have a great day.